I don't know that one game is going to decide everything. And if they blow out the Lions, hopefully we'll show a little bit of restraint. Just like if they get blown out, you're going to have to show some restraint there as well. But don't you think this is our first real opportunity to see this team against a capable quarterback with good weaponry and an excellent offensive line? Like, we just haven't seen that yet. And that measuring stick moment is pretty important after beating tomato cans.
Yeah, I was looking at some crazy number. It'll take me too long to try to pull it up and put my Ebenezer's on. But underdogs this year in the NFL, Salk, it's absurd. What they've not only won, but like even against the spread, like it has just been a crazy start. And, in that Denver market, the 0-2 Broncos, Mo picks and everything, like you're going to go to Tampa, go 0-3, you're going to go to the Jets, you're going to go 0-4. Oh my gosh, the wheels are coming off. And then they blow the doors off of Tampa Bay. Right, who had just gone up to, where did Tampa Bay go up? Baltimore and win or something? I mean, no, they went up to Detroit. They went up into Ford Field, did Tampa, and really handled those Lions. So I think you always got to be careful, especially in the NFL. You can do a little more so at ASU or in college football because there's only 12 of them before a championship game, and every one of them still, even with a 12-team playoff, still matters. But the NFL, you got to be a little careful, which is why, to me, the best point you make right there is we do get to gauge you against a very competent, very experienced, and very capable quarterback that knows that system inside and out.
Yeah, and I won't quite call him elite, but he's sort of in that next rung under that.
Yep, he's Geno Smith. I think he and Geno are very, very similar.
Yeah, you've made that comp before.
When things are right, I think Geno's got a stronger arm. I think Geno can make even more throws than Jared. I think Jared's banked more experience and taken a team to a Super Bowl and, deep in playoffs and everything else. But I think they're really, really similar. When things are right around them, they are incredible. And that ball is out and it's accurate and there's anticipation when they get hit and when they get flustered. And we've seen it. They've fumbled him and they've gotten to him the last couple times in Detroit. Going to absolutely have to do the same thing.
It's the biggest thing we haven't seen yet this year, right? Denver had a pretty good offensive line. New England ran the ball well with their offensive line. We've seen decent running backs. We've seen some really good wide receivers. We've seen coaches like McDaniel that certainly know what they're doing. Sean Payton's been around this game a long time and has a pretty good sense of how to call an offense. The one thing we haven't really seen the Seahawks up against yet is a not even top tier, a legitimate, experienced NFL starter, right?
Yeah,
we just haven't seen that.
Yeah. And I think people look at Detroit and some of these computer models and everything else, spit them out as a possible NFC Super Bowl finalists, right?
Yeah.
Right there with San Francisco's roster. And, they got a really deep roster. They've got a very good line of scrimmage. They do have two significant injuries defensively. I think this is a game, and I really will be curious at the injury report with K9. Ken Walker, it'd be nice to have him and Charbonnet as a 1-2 punch as these guys have in Montgomery and Gibbs.
I would assume.
So.
Just based on the workouts last week and all of that. So, no, the big questions for me in this game are much more injury-wise on the defensive line. Like, how big a game would this be for Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy in the middle of this defense, given what Daniel Jeremiah told us yesterday? And we'll play a lot more of the DJ stuff tomorrow, but I thought this was awfully telling. Oh, hold on, you got to turn my sound back up there if you don't mind.
They definitely have the most talent that they'll have faced. The other thing I would say is they're going to come in and really challenge them physically. So it's going to be, how do you hold up against that? And when I was going through the tape yesterday, it's fun when you're watching this, and obviously Hall was one of the ones that popped, just seeing what he did defensively. But who's good for a game like this was Hankins. Watching Hankins in that game last week, he was excellent in the short yardage stuff, and there's guys like that playing the league forever because you can't move them. And I think that'll be this type of game. I think the Lions will come out and try and mash them because I think we've seen early on in the year the speed and the rush that the Seahawks can generate. I don't think they're going to sit back and drop and throw it 50 times.
Okay, so what does it look like if the Lions come out and try to mash them and you're missing Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams? You have Jaron Reed. You have, obviously, Hankins, who we just mentioned. Is that enough?
You have undersized linebackers.
Because then it's sort of Mike. It's Mike Morris, and those guys are really more in the NASCAR side of things than the plug up the middle style, right?
Correct. And then you look at that New England tape. If you're Montgomery and Gibbs and Ben Johnson, the OC, like, ooh, I kind of like a lot of this stuff. I like trying to get to Tyrese Knight, this rookie in our environment here on the road, and these undersized linebackers that can really run, but can they take on blocks, and can we get enough movement, and these wide nines that really love to collapse the edge in the passing game and been dominant in that way, but we're vulnerable against a New England team. So yeah, man, that's going to be fun. I think, we have Joe, and we've got to have Joe and Troy, right? Monday?
Yeah.
Because aren't there two
I
Monday
assume
night?
so.
I mean, there's 2 Monday night games, right?
Yeah, I guess I don't even know. I don't know what the other Monday night game is.
I haven't even looked. I don't even
Otherwise,
care.
it's-
I'm so focused.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's Herb Street and Fowler, which that's a great crew.
It is. Yeah, it is. I could and I could try to get Kirk on there. Are we sure? Really? Herbie's doing the other Monday night game with the Thursday night prime?
Don't they usually-
With the Saturday night?
The
Don't
other
they usually
game
do
is
the Monday-
Tennessee-Miami.
Okay, yeah, that's not going to be Joe.
I would assume no
No.
one is putting their top crew in a game that involves the
No, I
Titans.
think the other Monday night, at least Monday night last week, Lyle, was Fowler, but it was with Louis Riddick.
I would
and
also
Dan
say the
Orlovsky.
Seahawks Monday night game is on ABC,
There we go.
whereas
Okay,
the other
so it's
game is on
yeah, all right.
ESPN. So
Okay, so I'll try to get Troy or Joe for Monday. That's all I need to know. We'll try to, and then I'll get even more juiced when
all
we
right,
play that.
sounds
play
pretty
that
good.
song.
Well, we'll play that Monday. We'll be getting ourselves ready for first real big test for these Seahawks on Monday Night Football.